presentation of WGN Sports.
The Angels are here at Wrigley Field for the first time ever. They took the opener yesterday, 7-6. Cub fans, young and old, getting set for Game 2 of this Father's Day weekend series. The Cubs hosting the Angels as we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Hi again, everyone. If you like horizontally striped golf shirts, this is your day. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. Tyler Colvin with a big home run last night as the Cubs came back in the ninth. Unfortunately, came up a little short, but he hasn't come up short this year.
He hasn't come up short since spring training started back in Mesa, Arizona. The young man had an unbelievable spring, earned his way onto this roster. Sporadic playing time early in the season, but he's taken full advantage of every at-bat he has had a chance to take so far here in the big leagues.
Yeah, and hitting for power. He's slugging over 600 here in his rookie campaign. Good pitching matchup today. You have an opening day starter for the Angels, right-hander Jared Weaver, and Ted Lilly coming off arguably the best start of his career.
This should be a good one, Len. If you like pitching, this will be a great game to watch. Both these guys are very much what I call feel pitchers. They watch how a hitter reacts to one pitch. They'll add a little, they'll subtract a little. They each have 4 pitches to use. It should be a good one.
As we talked about yesterday, you've got to beat the Angels and not beat yourself. The Cubs with 9 errors over their last 4 games, and what a magical night it was on Sunday. Ted Lilly took a no-hitter into the ninth. He tries to follow that up with a dandy today. The Cubs hosting the Angels next. Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Want to go home with me tonight? I'm the designated driver. Budweiser, responsibility matters. By Pepsi, every Pepsi refreshes the world. Submit your idea at refresheverything.com. And by Illinois Lottery's newest game, Powerball Wednesday and Saturday jackpots start at $20 million. Well, we see a little red in the stands this weekend. Angel fans have made their first trek here to the friendly confines. As we mentioned in the open, the Angels just held on 7-6. The Cubs came back in the ninth but came up short. Let's look in on Mike Scioscia's starting lineup against left-hander Ted Lilly. Howie Kendrick in that leadoff spot with a couple of injuries to Ibar and his Tourist. Franzen at third. Abreu hitting third and right. Torrey Hunter had the game-winning homer yesterday. Napoli at first. Juan Rivera gets a start in left. Bobby Wilson will catch. Wood at short and Weaver on the mound.
Let's take a look at how the Cubs take the field defensively today. Behind Ted Lilly, brought to you by Pepsi. Every Pepsi refreshes the world. Tyler Colvin moving from one corner to the other today. He'll be playing left field. Done a nice job defensively no matter where Lou puts him. Bird in center, Fukudome over in right. Tracy, Castro, Fontenot, Lee across the infield today. Boy Hill doing the catching for left-hander Ted Lilly.
The 34-year-old southpaw facing the Angels for the first time since 2006, and he starts Kendrick with a fastball for a strike. Look at the ERA, under 3, but just a 2-5 record. And that includes a cliffhanger as he just held on along with Carlos Marmol to beat the White Sox on Sunday night. 1-1 to Kendrick. 2-run homer in the 7th yesterday. 1 for 4 with a walk. And it's 2-1. Set the umpires for you. Field and Culbreth will call the balls and strikes. A South Carolina native. Marty Foster, Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, and Ed Hickox on the bases. A fly ball to right, wind's blowing out that direction, and Kosuke won't have room. It's into the basket for a home run. That's a smart swing by Howie Kendrick. That's where the home run balls are going to go today. Right field.
Yeah, the wind is blowing pretty strong from the left field corner toward the right field corner. And we talked about Howie Kendrick in the ball game yesterday. When he's going good, he's hitting the ball to right center and right field. When he's struggling, he hits a lot of ground balls to the left side. Took a backdoor slider that time from Ted Lilly, got the barrel of the bat on it, and got it up into the jet stream and into the basket.
It's his first career leadoff home run. Eric Ibar day-to-day with a knee injury, and Meiser is Torres, who had gotten the other at-bats in the leadoff spot with a strained forearm. He is on the DL, so Kendrick's been at the top of their lineup the last few days. So Ted has now given up hits to back-to-back hitters after no hitting the White Sox for 8 on Sunday night. Juan Pierre broke it up to lead off the 9th inning. Lilly was taken out, and then Marmol got the hair-raising save. 2-1 to Kevin Franzen. Checked his swing, and he hit it foul. Now the Chrysler game forecast brought to you by Chrysler. For more info on our vehicle lineup, log on to Chrysler.com or stop by your Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana Chrysler dealer today. That's punched out into right over Mike Fontenot for a base hit. So technically a northwest wind, which means it's a crosswind, but more or less, as you said, Bob, it's blowing out to right.
Yeah,
more of a westerly wind.
Kevin Franzen just hit what the equivalent of a pitch out. That ball was off the plate, up and away, shoulder high. He stuck his bat out there and poked it into right field for an easy base hit.
Brings up Bobby Abreu. One hit yesterday, his 501st career double. And behind in the count, 0-1. .263 career homers, 359 stolen bases for Bobby Abreu. That's low and inside. And remember, he was an afterthought in the free agent market prior to 2009. He ended up signing a $5 million contract with the Angels right at the end of the offseason. They got great value out of him, and it earned him a 2-year contract plus an option this past offseason.
The amazing thing about Bobby Abreu for me, not only does he continue to put up big offensive numbers as he's done throughout his career, but he continues to run well. Usually you see a guy his age and the first thing to go is the ability to steal a base, go first to third.
Another base hit. That's 3 in a row. With Torrey Hunter coming up.
Against the left-handed pitcher, Bobby Abreu is more likely to go up the middle of the field and the other way, and that time a clean single into center field. A lot of pitches up over the heart of the plate in the early going for Ted Lilly. Got to get that ball down.
Torrey Hunter with the go-ahead homer, a line shot into the left center field bleachers in the 6th inning yesterday. And the Angels would not trail again. He scored 3 runs. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Just 3 for 16 against Lilly, but 2 of those hits have been home runs. And Lilly fakes towards second. You can get a hold of us via email at LennonBob@Tribune.com and follow us at Twitter.com/LennonBob as well. So we're getting a lot of reaction on our matching golf shirts today.
It happens 2 or 3 times a year, whether we want it to or not.
Lilly needs a strikeout or a ground ball at one of his infielders. And another fake towards second. You really have to keep an eye on the Angels base runners. They will get a very aggressive lead if you let them.
And watch those pitches in the dirt as well. We saw Brandon Wood running at second base yesterday get a tremendous jump on a good read on a breaking ball in the dirt. Something this Angels team throughout their organization has been trained to do. Read the trajectory of the pitch. If you think it's going into the dirt, go ahead and break for the next base. It's going to be tough for the catcher to block, recover, and make a good throw to get you.
And now Ted wants to get together with Coy Hill. Coy caught Ted in that start on Sunday. Was Lilly's first win since his season debut on April 24th. Trying to make it 2 in a row here today, but in trouble in the first inning as Hunter fouls it back into the seats.
It's not unusual to watch Ted Lilly kind of ease into a ball game. We've seen his fastball sitting in the low to mid 80s. Last time out, he was in the upper 80s and touched 90-91 on occasion. He needs to have his good fastball to be effective with his off-speed stuff. But that being said, sometimes it takes him an inning or two to get up to velocity.
The Angels did not gain any ground on Texas. The Rangers won their 6th in a row. So LA is 2.5 out in the AL West. The Cubs are 7 back of the Cardinals, who beat Oakland. They jumped past the Reds by a half game, who were shut out by Cliff Lee. Close, but he didn't get it. Off the inside corner. Mariners beat the Reds last night 1-0.
I don't know. Pretty good to me.
Another foul. Good battle here between Lilly and Hunter. Torrey Hunter's a guy you don't want to face with the bases loaded. 5 for 5 with 12 RBIs. So I guess that's good news. Third base is open. And he's hanging in there. Another 1-2, and he struck him out that time on a high heater at only 87, but well located for the first out.
That's been a real effective pitch for Ted over his last 5 or 6 starts. An intentionally elevated fastball up and out of the zone. Now the approach that Kevin Franzen had, just trying to make contact and poke the ball into right field, will work against that particular pitch. But Torrey Hunter trying to do damage, took a full swing, couldn't get on top of that high heater.
Mike Napoli, catcher by trade. He's been playing first base with Kendry Morales out for the season. And as you recall, Morales suffered a broken left leg celebrating a game-ending grand slam in late May. And that was a devastating blow, even though the Angels have played probably their best baseball since. A lot of guys have gotten hot, but Morales was leading their team in all the big offensive categories. And now with their shortstop, Eric Ibar, day to day, he hasn't gone on the DL with the left knee injury. Might actually be back in the lineup tomorrow, but we've been hearing rumblings that the Angels might try to make a deal and add a bat to their lineup. Two and one.
Talking about those dog pile injuries, I saw a blurb in the paper that UCLA lost a player in a similar celebration. Won't be available for the rest of the College World Series. How about we just shake hands after doing something good?
That's not a bad idea. Juan Rivera on deck. He's playing left. Hideki Matsui on the bench today. Normally they're DH. And Rivera playing left for Matsui against the lefty Lilly.
Well, if you make a good home run call today on Tyler Colvin's bomb to right field, I'm going to come over there and pound you on the head and throw you on the ground. How's that?
I look forward to it. That's what we do after a good broadcast. Again, Lilly keeping a close watch. Kevin Franzen at second base. I think it's a giveaway. Bobby Abreu stretching his legs at first. They're going to run.
He's down in a 3-point stance facing second base.
Napoli is a strikeout candidate. And the runners are moving, and it's tapped foul. Let's check out who's moving forward with Toyota. And Ted Lilly against the other league at home. Look at that. With the Blue Jays and Cubs 6-0 over his last 9 starts. Lots of strikeouts. Toyota and your local Toyota dealers, official partner of the Chicago Cubs. Carl Wolarski from the super fans commented on his way out he's going to go buy a Toyota after the 7th inning yesterday.
Just had the urge.
Yeah. I encourage him to do that. Runners go again, and it's low and outside, ball 4.
Command just not there for Ted Lilly in the early going today. He's missed his spot badly a number of times, trying to hit corners and missing by 6 or 8 inches. Better find it and find it quick here with the bases loaded, 1 out in the first.
Juan Rivera with the bases loaded. Well, the early start has not negatively affected the Angels. You played on the West Coast for most of your career. Is it a bigger adjustment for a West Coast team coming east and playing a noon local time start?
I think you kind of get used to it. You know, players, I don't think they even pay attention to what time zone they're in. They just want to know what time does the bus leave for the ballpark.
10 a.m. start on the West Coast. A fly ball sending Bird back on it, and he's not going to get there. And the Angels are going to score 3. Juan Rivera clears them with a double. That was not wind aided at all. The flags are barely moving currently in center field. He smoked it, and it's 4-0.
Well, one thing we've noticed in a game and an inning here against this Angels ball club, with runners in scoring position, they stay up the middle of the field. They're not as susceptible to off-speed pitches. They're not trying to pull the ball out of the ballpark. They're just trying to hit something hard to the big part of the field. And this time Rivera finds that gap in right center to clear the bases.
And still only 1 out in the inning. And backup catcher Bobby Wilson getting the start. Jeff Mathis just came off the disabled list. He started yesterday. And Wilson in there today. For Ted Lilly, over his first 10 starts of the year, he had only allowed 1 earned run in the first. But 4 of them in this one, and he's only gotten 1 out. Wilson hit the first home run of his career Wednesday against Milwaukee. And in his first major league start on April 23rd against the Yankees, he suffered a concussion and a left ankle sprain in a home plate collision with Mark Teixeira and went on the DL that night. Runner goes as Lilly was slow and will easily steal third. Juan Rivera took off, and Ted with that big leg kick, and no throw from Coy Hill.
Well, that's another thing that's quickly apparent about this Angels team. You can't assume that guys aren't going to bunt. You can't assume that they aren't going to try to steal bases. If the time on the stopwatch tells Mike Scioscia that a guy can steal a base, they'll run with anybody up and down this lineup, including Juan Rivera or the catcher.
And it forces the infield to come in with a runner at third, and a 1-2 pitch on the way, called strike 3.
Tailing action on that fastball. Started on the inside corner, brought it right back over the heart of the plate. You could see the reaction by Bobby Wilson. He thought that pitch was going to be way inside. Takes that long walk back to the first base dugout. It's a lot longer after you look at a called strike 3.
Especially with a man at third and less than 2 outs. Swing and a miss by the struggling Brandon Wood. He's at short. He was their opening day third baseman and has had a pretty miserable season to this point. 0-2. He has been in this spot, Bob, a lot. Down in the count.
Now the Angels are very patiently waiting for Brandon Wood to reach his potential. He had a minor league season in 05 that the kind of season guys dream about. In 130 games in A-ball, 43 homers and 115 RBI.
He is striking out a lot at this level this season. All the outs were strikeouts, but the Angels still got 4, and the Cubs are coming up. couple of days ago to beat Oakland. Tyler Colvin with that home run in the 9th yesterday. Bird, Lee, Tracy at third. Mike Fontenot spelling Ryan Theriot at second. Hill, Castro, and Lilly rounding it out.
Take a look at the Angels defensively today. Juan Rivera in left field. Torrey Hunter, the 9-time Gold Glover, in center field. Bobby Abreu over in right. Franson, Wood, Kendrick, and Napoli across the infield. Bobby Wilson doing the catching today for the tall, lanky right-hander Jared Weaver. 6'7", 205 pounds. Look at his numbers on the season. A 4-pitch guy, tailing, sinking fastball, a curve, slider, changeup. He'll use all 4 pitches. He has kind of a crossfire action. He'll throw across that front leg, really effectively hiding the ball from the hitters.
He's a younger brother of Jeff Weaver, and a strike to Fukudome. Interesting story. Jared replaced his older brother on the Angels roster in June of 2006 when Jeff was designated for assignment. Well, you're right. The landing spot for Weaver is nowhere near being in front of where he starts. Off to the right of the rubber by quite a bit.
Yeah, one of the most exaggerated crossfire pitchers in the major leagues. Usually you see left-handers do this. Rarely do you see a right-hander use that crossfire to his advantage.
Tried to catch the back door and could not. It's 2-1. That catches a corner on a fastball. Fukudome 2 for 2 on Thursday. Came into the game as a pinch hitter in the 8th. Scored the game-tying run. And then had the game-ending RBI single in the 9th. Sprays it foul. He's reunited with his hitting coach, Kyosuke Sasaki, who's in town for a bit with the team. And they've been working together quite a bit. Kosuke has not played a whole lot lately. We've seen a lot of Tyler Colvin and Xavier Nady out in right. Pitcher has to cover. He gets the throw from Kendrick, and that goes 4-1. Colvin playing left today and batting second. He hit leadoff for the first time in his career yesterday.
And the wind we have here at Wrigley today definitely favoring left-handed pull hitters or right-handers that go to the opposite field. Really gusting out toward those right field bleachers. That's that 88-mile-an-hour fastball. He's not overpowering by any stretch of the imagination. Will occasionally touch 90 with his heater, but not afraid to pitch with that high 80s fastball.
And you notice what he's doing to the lefties. He's going to pound the outside part of the plate. You know, a guy like Colvin wants to turn on one. If he does, he might hit a building across Sheffield. 1-2. It's also the kind of day that you got to run everything out. And defensively, you got to keep your feet moving. Especially down the left field line. Balls that normally would be foul and out of play may be catchable.
It seems to me like the harder the wind blows here at Wrigley, whether it's in, out, or across, should favor the home team. Cubs have played under every possible condition here at Wrigley Field with the wind. The visiting teams come in here, and it may change from batter to batter, from inning to inning. It's one thing Mike Scioscia alerted his team about when they came into town. Check the flags. Before every pitch, check the flags.
The wind and the 2-2, and that's bounced to first, and Weaver has to cover again, and he'll get there. Nice scoop by Napoli.
Hey fans, tomorrow is Lifeway Day here at Wrigley Field. Don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Angels at 1:20. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 children 14 and younger will receive a Lifeway Pro Bugs toy, compliments of Lifeway Foods. Couple of ground balls to the right side to start the game for Weaver. One from the second baseman to the pitcher covering. This time the first baseman with the shovel toss on to Weaver. One of the very first drills you do in spring training. Get over, get over, get over.
Marlon Byrd has seen Weaver a lot. Swing and a miss on a fastball. 0 for 5 yesterday, but still hitting over 400 over his last 14 games. And he's hit .318 lifetime against Jared Weaver.
With a guy like Marlon Byrd who stands so close to the plate and a guy like Weaver who crossfires, it looks like Weaver's throwing that ball from behind Marlon Byrd. The angle as that ball gets into the hitting zone, and granted it's not that much of a change, but the geometry of hitting is very complicated, and when that pitcher is stepping behind your back and then throwing across his body, that's got to be tough to pick up.
Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Shut down first for Weaver after his team gave him 4 to start the game. Farmington, Illinois. Cooper Siren from Kyoto, Iowa. For more info on how you can be a Walgreens celebrity bat kid, go to WGNradio.com. Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. That autograph someday, hopefully, is going to be worth a lot of money. That was Hayden Simpson, young right-hander. The Cubs have officially inked their first round pick, the 16th overall pick. Hayden Simpson out of Southern Arkansas University. 0-2 on the pitcher Weaver. Simpson threw off the bullpen mound today, and the man who recommended him, Jim Crawdaddy Crawford, Cubs fine area scout, also here, and we had a chance to meet young Hayden Simpson. And he'll head down to Mesa, Bob, and finish up the year in Boise.
It sounded like he was very anxious to get started. He hasn't pitched in quite a while as Weaver takes a look at a called strike 3. It has to be very exciting for the young man to come here to Wrigley and put on a Cubs uniform, go down there and throw a side session in the bullpen, even in front of an empty stadium. What a thrill that must be.
And Crawdaddy wanted us to tell his sister Martha, I still love you. Watching from Mississippi today. We always get a heavy dose of Southern hospitality from Crawdaddy.
Oh, yeah.
Always great to see him. Kendrick could not hold up. He led off the game with a home run. 0-2. Swing and a miss.
Time now to check out today's improvement from Menards. We're going to take a look at the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim under Mike Scioscia. You see the fine 938, 752. That's a 555 winning percentage. The 2 years prior, not quite so good. And I think Mike Scioscia is going to be in Anaheim probably about as long as he wants to.
He is signed through 2018. We hope to just be alive in 2018. That's how long his contract is. Kevin Franzen deep to center. Marlon Byrd makes the catch. Mike Scioscia, first manager to guide his team to 6 playoff berths in his first 10 years as a manager. His team leading the Cubs 4-0 early. Derek Lee leading off, the Cubs second against right-hander Jared Weaver, who was the Angels' opening day starting pitcher. 15th start for Weaver. In his first 14, he's gone 6 innings 12 times. Has struck out at least 6 batters 13 times and has given up 3 earned runs or fewer 11 times. He's been really good.
I'd say a lot of his recent success is due to the fact that he started to trust his fastball more. Early on in the season and in seasons past, he tried to nibble with his breaking pitches, throw change-ups when he was behind in the count, but this year he's trusting his fastball a lot more, and the results are showing it's probably a wise decision on his part.
Derek Lee with 2 homers yesterday, 4 now over his last 8. As we look at our PNC Cubs achiever, Derek Lee. Homers number 172 and 173 yesterday as a Cub. Over 300 overall in his career. Swing and a miss. PNC Bank proud to be an official sponsor of the Chicago Cubs and just as proud to support the fans and community who cheer them on. PNC, for the achiever in us all. Great new PNC club down along the third base line. Now Chad Tracy in a pretty straight up platoon currently at third base with Jeff Baker. Aramis Ramirez hopefully will be back on Wednesday when he is eligible to come off the disabled list. Aramis is in Peoria for a rehab assignment with the Chiefs today and tomorrow. And if all goes well, he'll be back on the next trip. And it will be an American League 6-game trip to Seattle and then at the White Sox. So Lou will have some options as far as who DHs. And case of Aramis, if he'll just come back and play third every day.
Well, Lewis hinted that maybe he would use the designated hitter in the American League ballparks to give a rest to some of his regular players, or at least a half a day of rest. He mentioned Soriano, he mentioned Derek Lee, possibly Marlon Byrd. And also Ramirez would be in that mix if he's active.
The 1-2 to Tracy is outside. I'm sure in the way back of Chad Tracy's mind, not right now in the batter's box, but just in general, he knows that he was the guy who replaced Ramirez on the roster, so there's maybe a little added pressure to produce and make that decision difficult when Aramis comes back. A called third strike. 3 straight Ks now for Weaver.
I mentioned earlier how he has a feel for pitching, adding a little, taking a little off. Just rolled that curveball up there in the middle of the plate after a series of hard pitches on the inside part of the plate. I'll tell you, more than anything else, it's that crossfire action, I think, that fools hitters. Your first at bat in a ball game, if you've never faced him before, it's quite a shock to find where the ball's coming from. Second time around should be a little easier, and according to the numbers, the third time around, the advantage tends to swing toward the hitter a little bit.
The 1-0 to Mike Fontenot is a strike, 1-1. You don't see a lot of guys pitch like Jared Weaver, and one of the reasons is it can't put a lot of strain on your arm. Nice work for him, and a base hit for Fontenot. Joe Weaver will have to work from the stretch for the first time against Coy Hill.
Weaver jumping out of the way as Brandon Wood just a little late with his dive up the middle of the field. No chance to get Fontenot even if he successfully comes up with that baseball.
A switch hitter takes a slow curve at 69 for a strike.
Then we probably won't see it trailing by 4 runs early, but one thing you can do against Jared Weaver is run. Opposing base stealers are 14 out of 17. It takes him a while to get his body in that crossfire position that he wants to use in his delivery to home plate.
This is the first trip the Angels have ever made to Wrigley Field. And this is just the 5th all-time matchup between these two clubs. They had a 3-game series in Anaheim in 2004, and the Cubs took 2 of 3. The all-time series knotted up at 2 apiece. So all the current AL teams have now made a trip here, and the Cubs have played everywhere on the road except, let's see, Oakland and Fenway Park.
And Minnesota.
Well, yeah,
the new park. The new park, yeah.
It's high. Now that is one of the old school LA Angels caps. They started their franchise history as the Los Angeles Angels. That was back in 1961. Eventually they became the California Angels and the Anaheim Angels, and now the LA Angels of Anaheim. Weaver cruising along early, leading 4-0.
see Dolph Lundgren here today. That's Telephone by Lady Gaga and Beyonce. Budweiser, it's what we do.
4-0 Angels as we play the third. Abreu, Hunter, Napoli. Single and a run in the first for Abreu. Good curve from Ted.
You know, Len, it's funny how a reputation will precede a pitcher. All the Angels wanted to talk about when asking about Ted Lilly, does he still have that big curveball? Does he still throw that big curveball? You know, we haven't seen as many of those from Ted Lilly this year as we have in seasons past, but right there he tried to go back-to-back curves to a real good hitter in Bobby Abreu, and he finds that hole on the right side.
Abreu's 2 for 2. So, you know, Ted giving up hits today, that's not been the case lately, or at least it had not been the case. Last 2 games, opposing batters were just 5 for 51. Well, they already have 5 hits today, and we're only in the 3rd inning. 5 for 11 are the Angels. Ted had allowed just 4 runs in his last 4 starts combined. He gave up 4 in the 1st inning. Another check on Abreu. Here's a pitch to Hunter. It's up, ball 1.
Talked about Bobby Abreu and his ability to continue to run the bases aggressively and steal bases. Last year at the age of 35, he had 30 stolen bases in 38 attempts. He's been in double digits every year since 1998.
Two and 0. Long battle the last time Hunter hit, and he ultimately struck out on a high fastball. Missed again, 3-0. Ted wanted that one. No clouds to be found. Breezy and a warm summer afternoon here at Wrigley. That's ball 4. 2 on, nobody out. I was talking with Ryan Dempster the other day, and I alluded to it, Bob, just how key that leadoff guy is in any inning. This changes the whole approach. Puts a lot more pressure on that pitcher, especially against the Angels with how aggressive they are in their running game.
Forces you to change your defense a little bit. Obviously, the first baseman has to hold on that runner at first base. Your middle infielders are more likely to play a step or 2 more shallow and closer to the bag at second, hoping to turn a double play on a ground ball. Creates a lot of havoc when that leadoff man gets on, and especially when he can run.
The 0-1 to Napoli. A called strike, 0-2. Today ending a very impressive streak for Ted Lilly. A 7 consecutive quality start streak. You can't give up 4 earned runs and get a quality outing. You can win, however. Cubs will have to come back today for Ted as Napoli strikes out. That's 6 already for Lilly.
And Nothing tricky there. Fastball, middle of the thighs, outside corner of the plate. Gets a big swing from Napoli. We talked earlier in the game how the Angels usually shorten up and try to go up the middle of the field with runners in scoring position. That time Napoli trying to go out onto Waveland Avenue.
Strikeouts are a little funky. That's 6 for Lilly. He has doubled his strikeout total from his last start. He only had 3 against the White Sox. Yet he took a no-no into the 9th. I think on the surface what it does tell you is that the Angels are not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, and they have worked some deep counts. And that gets away from Coy Hill. We've seen a lot of wild pitches here lately, and we talked about the errors. As the Cubs try to shore it up defensively. 2-0 with runners at second and third now.
It looked like a fastball in the dirt that time. Coy Hill just tried to reach across and backhand that ball on the short hop. He tries to pick it out of the dirt cleanly. It hits the heel of his glove and bounces over toward the Cubs on deck circle. Talked about it many times. Catchers never anticipate a fastball in the dirt. You'd like to think that a big league pitcher can either hit his spot or at least get the ball to the plate in the air. And when a fastball ends up in the dirt, that's the toughest one to block.
So Rivera, who cleared the bases with a double in the first, will not get a chance to swing the bat this time. Instead, they'll go after Bobby Wilson with the bases loaded. Let's check out our AT UVerse replay. First major league start for Bobby Wilson back in April, and he had a violent collision with Mark Teixeira at home plate and immediately went to the DL. That was a nasty one. Find out more of what's possible at att.com. AT&T Rethink Possible. Now, those guys were briefly teammates when Teixeira was with the Angels. I say it might have been a memorable first career start, but I'm not sure if he remembered much of it after suffering a concussion. A pop-up, but out of play. I think I've asked you if you suffered any concussions. Were you ever diagnosed with one?
Oh, no. Got knocked out in a basketball game to end our season when I was a senior, and a week later playing baseball I got knocked out again. Played the next day. I mean, concussions weren't as big of a deal back then as they are now. And the post-concussion syndrome that some guys really have problems dealing with.
Just foul.
I mean, back in the day, we probably had some concussions. We didn't even realize we had concussions. It was just another headache. Which probably explains a lot. Undiagnosed brain trauma. What's that noise?
The 1-2 pitch. Tap back to Lilly. They get 1 and 2. You like those 1, 2, 3 double plays. And that one helps Lilly escape with no damage done. It's still 4-0. part of the Les Turner ALS Foundation's 16th annual Lou Gehrig Day here at Wrigley Field, as they do their part to strike out ALS. And they celebrate the late Lou Gehrig's birthday as well, born June 19, 1903 in Manhattan. 2,130 consecutive games before retiring, and Gehrig passed away on June 2nd, 1941, after a brave battle with ALS. As Castro looks at a strike, his first matchup with Jared Weaver. 1-1 the count, 4-0 Angels here in the third. You can visit LesTurnerALS.org for more information on the Les Turner ALS Foundation. Also go to Chicago Baseball Stories to check out the story of Lou Gehrig's first Wrigley Field home run. He was in high school 90 years ago. Pretty interesting story. It's at ChicagoNow.com. The pitcher Lilly on deck, hoping Castro gets on and he can bunt him over. Did it pretty well, but it's going to be caught. A basket catch by Rivera in left.
Pitcher's best friend, that double play ball. Ted Lilly got it at a big time. Bases loaded, one out. Got the tapper back to the mound. Made sure to make a good throw to Coy Hill. Coy moves a step or two to the inside of that first baseline to make sure he didn't hit the runner in the back as he was going down that first baseline, and escapes damage there in the third.
Teddy 0 for 18 on the season. Career 116 hitter. And 5 for 57 last year, but had 2 extra base hits, a double and a triple. Still looking for his first career home run. If he is going to hit one, today's the day. He can turn on something, get it up in the air. One and two.
You rarely, if ever, see a pitcher go to the plate without batting gloves. Well, Teddy does it all the time. Number one, they don't want to get the pine tar and rosin on their hand to possibly affect their grip on the baseball. Number two, if you get jammed, you get those bees in your hands, it might be tough to get the feeling back before you go back out to take the mound for the next half inning, but it doesn't seem to bother Teddy ballgame.
He waves at strike three.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN TV is sponsored in part by the Illinois Lottery Mega Millions. Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is $26 million.
Quiet start to the bottom of the third. 2 outs, nobody on, and it's Fukudome. I mentioned Hideki Matsui not in the Angel lineup today. The Angels have welcomed about 25 to 30 members of the Japanese media to Angel Stadium each game to cover Matsui. And they have about half that many who travel to cover the team. But Kosuke is the story back in Japan, at least to start this game, because he's in the lineup and Matsui is not. A bouncer to Kendrick. And the Cubs go down in order for the second time in the first 3. 4-0 LA after 3. Cubs baseball on WGN, your official summer baseball station. 8-9-1 for the Angels against lefty Ted Lilly. All 4 runs for the visitors came in the first inning. Cubs are 3-4 to start this 9-game homestand. They have an off day Monday, on which they'll travel to Seattle. It's the final off day of the first half, 20 straight before the break, beginning Tuesday. The 0-1 to Brandon Wood, and he's down 0-2 again. Wind continues to howl from left to right. Hooked down the line, foul. Don't forget to check out our WGN Baseball blog on WGNTV.com. Click on the sports link. Look for Len and Bob's Baseball blog. I have a post about the shaky Cubs defense lately. Need to shore that up. And we mentioned the link to a great story about Lou Gehrig here at Wrigley Field 90 years ago. Game notes from Stats and more. WGNTV.com. Now to play down the right field line. A little early action today. Mets and Yankees tied 3-3 in the top of the 4th. The Mets have won 8 in a row. They're a half game back of the Braves in the East. The Yankees tied with the Tampa Bay Rays atop the American League East. Good throw by Castro. Giants and Blue Jays are scoreless. They're in the top of the 5th up in Canada. Everything else is later.
Now this is where you really see a shortstop's arm. Starlin Castro got caught a little bit flat-footed. He knew he had to hurry to get Brandon Wood at first base, so without even taking a crow hop, no step or anything toward his target, just let it fly. Got it over there in plenty of time to get the Angels shortstop.
Big swing by Weaver, who fouls back.
It's one thing to take a double crow hop and wind up and fire the ball across the infield to showcase your arm, but on those particular plays where you get caught flat-footed, that's where your arm strength really shows.
Can you explain to a fan who might not know what a crow hop is?
I'm not even sure how to describe it.
Like a skip almost.
Yeah, almost
right?
like a skip. Yeah, you kind of go toward your target and jump forward if you're a right-handed thrower with your right foot, and then step with your left foot and make the throw. The whole idea being to generate some momentum toward your target. But as an infielder, sometimes depending on the kind of hop that a ball takes or how hard it's hit, or obviously the location where it's hit, you don't have that luxury of taking that little bit of a wind-up crow hop. You just have to let it fly.
We'll find a good crow hop for you at some point. You see, half of his pitches came in the first inning. Swing and a miss, and Ted fell down. Wow, that was like Leslie Nielsen's dance move behind the plate and naked gun. Fortunately, he's all right.
I don't believe I've ever seen that particular move by any pitcher at any level before. He ended up doing a splits out there on the mound.
His push-off spot.
Well, you watch as that left leg comes around right there, and the cleat just didn't catch in the dirt, and the foot kept sliding more and more toward first base.
If that were me, that'd be a career-ending groin injury.
Yeah.
That'd be it. Done.
Yeah, Ted Lilly, a little controversy when he pitched against the Dodgers a few starts ago, and I'm sure it was inadvertent. He snuck up in front of the rubber just a little bit to deliver a pitch or two. And boy, I've been watching the Angels base coaches eyeballing Ted Lilly out there on the mound.
And he will get Kendrick. We go 1, 2, 3 in the fourth. Oh, yeah. No problem. Something going. Only one hit through 3. Ted Lilly's been good since the first inning when he allowed 4. And a strike to Tyler Colvin. What a bizarre offseason situation when he found out that some guy he didn't know allegedly tried to steal a truck in Utah using his identity. That was right around Cubs convention time. The thing that amazes me about the story, the guy apparently walks into a dealership, says he's Tyler Colvin, asks to take the truck, says he'll buy it the next day, and they let him take it. Didn't have an ID or anything.
Jeez.
Just said, I'm Tyler Colvin of the Cubs. And that's all they needed to hear. The guy reportedly recently had a fairly lengthy jail sentence. And Tyler in the end could laugh about it, but it's not fun to go through that.
Well, the real Tyler Colvin, if he continues to hit the way he has this year, will be able to walk into any dealership in the Chicagoland area and say, hey, give me a truck.
Outside. 2-2. And a ground ball to the first baseman, Napoli. Gets it to Weaver. You see there's some electronics in that scoreboard. Not much in that classic Wrigley Field scoreboard. And Rick Fuse, who handles all the big numbers out there with our executive producer Bob Vorwald, and Kurt Huberts, who put the electronic part of the board together back in 1937 along with his father. They did the electronics. Kurt was 20 at the time. He's now 94. And he lives in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and great to have Kurt here at the ballpark. And as we always say, Rick has the quickest trigger finger in the business. Balls and strikes. It's like he knows before the pitch even arrives what it's going to be. Marlon Byrd with a base hit.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to play 3-card monte with Rick. You'll lose every time.
Second hit for the Cubs. Yeah, we go to other parks, and after a pitch, I'll look up at the board, and I have to wonder, did they already put it up? Because I know here they have.
If you're watching the action on the field, I defy you to look up to that scoreboard quickly enough to catch the number going up. It will already be there.
Rick's carrying on a conversation with 4 people up there, and he's still flawless. All right, let's see how fast it is. In the blink of an eye, 3-0 on D. Lee. Weaver without a walk to this point. The only 2 base runners earned their way on via a hit. Ball hits the mitt. It goes up. There's just no delay. And that is from inside the scoreboard. Slight delay there, but you got to make sure that it lands foul. 3-2. Bob, what do you do with Bird here? Are you more conservative down 4 than you normally would be?
Yeah, I think you almost have to be, Len. I mean, you'd like to push the issue a little bit, maybe stay out of the double play, but Weaver is a strikeout pitcher. Derek Lee occasionally a strikeout hitter. I think down by 4 you got to be a little more cautious.
Just in case the Angels throw over there. And Napoli's a catcher. When you're a catcher, you just fall on people.
Just fall on them, trap them to the ground until you can find the ball.
Bird not running as Lee hits a line shot. A good thing he didn't. It was an out. Good thing he caught it. Otherwise, that probably is a double play. And if Bird had been running, he would have been doubled off.
The 2010 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN is brought to you by Bud Light Lime. The drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime.
Glorious day weather-wise. And a huge crowd here at Wrigley Field. The Cubs still trying to get on the board against Jared Weaver. Chad Tracy took a called third in his first at bat. Big swing, he fouled it back. There are 2 avenues here to try to get back into this game. Be a little bit more aggressive, possibly on the bases, to try to create something. Or get something up into the jet stream. And I just, with the wind blowing out like it is, I think that's the way you're going to have to get back into this game. And not force the issue too much and risk making extra outs on the bases. way out in front. 0-2.
You just haven't seen many real rhythmic time swings against Weaver in this ball game. Pulled the string on that big slow curveball. He'll throw a harder breaking ball. We've seen the fastball on both sides of the plate. A good straight changeup. Hitters talk all the time about squaring the ball up. It's tough to do against Jared Weaver.
Just missed off the inside edge. Fans following us on Twitter. Sarah wants to say happy Father's Day to Grandpa Brandon in Rantoul. Been a Cub fan for 85 years. It almost ended right there. Tracy's still alive. Facing a 1-2 offering. That time he got him. Similar pitch, must have been just a little more over the plate. 4-zip Angels after 4. Chicagoland viewers, how would you like to win $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. Ted Lilly facing Kevin Franzen. And he takes a strike. Franzen, a former Giant. Was claimed off waivers from Boston in late April. The Dragonflies are out. What the colors? A bit of nature here at Wrigley Field.
Animal Planet.
It's golfed high in the air. Like one of my drives. Shank.
I don't know how Franzen got that ball in the air. It looked like he picked it right off the ground, but somehow got the barrel of the bat underneath the ball, popped it up into right.
Happy belated 18th birthday to Michael Vanderkolk, Bluffton, Indiana. Following us on Twitter. Also happy 80th birthday to longtime Cub fan Phil Collins, not the musician, but a member of the National Handball Hall of Fame club in Lantana, Florida. We're watching on WGN America from Florida. I know you like to play handball in your downtime. A little squash.
Eat a little squash.
And another hit for Abreu. That's 3.
Play catch in the outfield, run the bases, or relax in the dugouts of Wrigley Field next Saturday, June 26th. Limited tickets are available for $150 each and include a T-shirt, photograph, baseball, and lunch. All proceeds benefit Chicago Cubs charities. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
You know, Bob, the term handball, that probably pull out a yellow card during the World Cup, right? For a handball.
Given the officiating we've seen so far in the World Cup, who knows?
That's a nice segue for this interesting story. The Florida Marlins are going to give away one of the air horns, or Vuvuzela, I believe it's called, that you keep hearing in the World Cup. The first 15,000 will get one tonight as the Marlins host the Rays.
Possibly one of the most misguided promotions in the history of Major League Baseball. Right after the Thunder Sticks.
If you watch the Rays and Marlins tonight, this is what you're going to hear. Either that or the Killer Bees will have arrived.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing after my second concussion in a week. It sounded like that for about 5 days.
Yeah. Thunder Sticks, we saw that in Anaheim.
Anaheim, yeah.
In the World Series in 2002. Oh, and 1 to Torrey Hunter. Inside, 1-1. The Pirates go into action against Cleveland, having lost 12 in a row. Second longest losing streak in 55 years. They had a 13-gamer in 2006. Deep drive for Torrey Hunter. And right in about the same spot as his home run yesterday. This time a 2-run blast. And it's 6-0. He was quoted after the game yesterday saying, I like this place. After the ball he hit yesterday. And he hits another one today. They've both been line drive home runs.
Now, yesterday during batting practice, I was specifically watching Torrey Hunter, and he was regularly depositing balls out onto Waveland Avenue, across the street on Waveland Avenue. His 2 home runs during the game so far in this series have been line drive bullets in just about the same area.
So he now has 42 RBIs in his last 44 games in which he's had an at bat. Cleanup man is cleaning them up. Well, he might like this ballpark for what he can do at the plate, but I don't think he's a big fan defensively because he can't rob home runs. He likes the places where he can go up over the wall. He's good, but I don't know if he can jump into the basket.
No, I don't think so. And he might not like hitting here quite so much if he'd come back in April when it's 28 degrees and the wind's blowing straight in and a slight drizzle of snow. Not quite as easy to dunk him out there into the bleachers under those conditions.
Well, it had gone well for the Cubs against the teams from both of the Western divisions, but not so far in this series. They are 11-5 against teams from the West. They trail 6-0 here as Napoli skies to right. Fukudome the catch. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Len and Bob on our WGN Sports crew from Wrigley Field. Father's Day weekend. All Angels so far today. Rivera pops it up. Castro out, but one of the outfielders will take it. Wynn pushing it out to Marlon Byrd. And that's the inning. Torrey Hunter with a 2-run shot. 6-zip Angels.
Concert series. Santana is playing First Midwest Bank Amphitheater July 9th. Get your tickets at livenation.com. The Summer Concert Series is brought to you by Bud Light. Live music and Bud Light. Here we go.
More of a cushion now for Weaver, leading 6-0. 1-0 on Mike Fontenot. Jeff Stevens just got up in the bullpen as the guys are stretching in the vicinity. Well, it wasn't a no-hitter for Ted, but he took one into the ninth, and we talked the other day as we watched Dallas Braden about how often guys who throw no-hitters or perfect games struggle in the aftermath. Care to chip in on this in terms of a theory on that? I don't know if maybe emotionally and physically it can maybe take a toll.
I don't think there's any question it takes its toll, but I think what happens is when a pitcher is as good as Ted Lilly was against the Sox or Dallas Braden against Tampa Bay, any no-hitter, any perfect game, that pitcher's in a zone. You hear basketball players talk about it when they hit nothing but net. You hear golfers talk about it when every shot goes exactly where they want it to go. You get in that zone, in that cocoon. And I think once you come out of that cocoon, it's back to the real world. And it's hard to execute perfect pitches every time. It's hard to repeat your delivery pitch after pitch after pitch. But when you get into one of those zones, either as a pitcher or a hitter, and we've seen it happen many times with hitters too, where they'll go on a streak where they go 15 out of 20 with 5 home runs and 7 doubles, and then just as quickly the next week you go 0 for 30.
I think that's a great explanation. I would also add that for a starting pitcher versus any other player on the roster, Fontenot gets a hold of one. Torrey Hunter will catch it on the warning track. You got to wait 5 and sometimes 6 days before your next start. And you can be, as you say, in the zone as hot as you've been maybe your whole career. Then you got the cooling off period. And for a hitter, you go 4 for 4 one day, you're right back out there in the lineup the next day.
You know, and I can't speak for Ted Lilly, but I would imagine there's a tendency to overanalyze what you did. Boy, that was great. How did that happen? How can I do that again? And the more you think, the worse the results are. I mean, in many cases in professional sports. That's why guys that are in the midst of a hitting streak don't want to talk about it. They just want to show up the next day and play again. They don't want to try to analyze why it's happening. What are you doing differently? What are you hitting? I don't know. I just want to show up and do it again tomorrow. Don't want to overanalyze.
Coy Hill rolls it up the middle. A backhanded play by Kendrick. That is a nice defensive play by Howie Kendrick.
Really 2 good plays in one there. The first good play was just to get to that ball up the middle of the field. Looked like it was ticketed for center and a base hit, but he got to it and then had the body control to make that off-balance throw as he's running away from his target and right on the money to Mike Napoli at first base. That's a nice play.
Cubs, by the way, have not put the leadoff man on in any inning. They've had just 2 base runners, a 2-out hit by Fontenot on the second, a 1-out single by Bird in the fourth. So they have not made life particularly difficult for Jared Weaver. Kamen tied for first in the American League in strikeouts with 96. He has a half dozen today. So now 14 times out of 15 starts he struck out at least 6. Torrey Hunter, 9-time Gold Glover, made that look easy, and that's it. On to the 6th, 6-0 Angels. 6-0 Angels as Jared Weaver working on a 2-hit shutout through 5. Ted Lilly will likely be his final inning. He is due to lead off the bottom of the 6th. Ball 1 to Bobby Wilson. I mentioned Wilson hit his first career homer on Wednesday. Sent the ball to his dad as a Father's Day gift. That's a good Father's Day gift. Your son's first career home run ball. Vince Schmidt wants to send out a happy Father's Day wish to his dad, Joe, in Quebec, Canada, watching on WGN America. The 1-1 is inside.
Coy Hill, as he chased that foul ball over near the first base dugout, looked like he had a little limp, little hitch in his giddy up there. Not sure exactly what that was, but he goes right back behind the plate and gets into his crouch, no problem. As he grounded out to second base in that last inning, he just looks like he's laboring coming out of that batter's box, and then kind of limped across the bag there at first. And I saw it once again, as I said, when he chased that foul ball over near the first base dugout. Not sure what he's got going on, but I'm going to try to play through it.
No play for Coy, about 2 rows back.
No surprise that he's trying to play through it. This is a guy that played an inning and a half on a broken ankle when he was a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Coy got bowled over at home plate by Ty Wigginton, kind of rolled over on his ankle awkwardly, got up limping, but got right back down in his crouch, finished the inning.
And Derek Lee has to make the sliding catch. Yeah, Coy just not moving well. That was mean, Bobby Wilson. All those foul pops.
Ball wasn't popped very high in the air, dealing with the sun, the wind. Coy coming out from behind home plate. He's hoping Derek Lee can get there. A much easier play for the first baseman coming in than the catcher running out with all that gear on, the mask, a mitt that wasn't really made for catching pop-ups. So for Coy Hill, he was thankful Derek Lee got there.
Called strike on Brandon Wood. We've mentioned this website before, The Art of Catching, which is hosted by Brent Main, the former big league catcher. And that's knocked down by Tracy, picks it up, won't be able to make a throw.
Hey, Lynn Lee from Forest Park is today's Hit the Jackpot with Powerball contestant. If the Cubs hit a home run in the next inning, Lynn Lee will win 100 chances to win the Powerball jackpot. Tonight's jackpot is worth $78 million.
Brent Main talking about the catcher's mask, when you leave it on, when you get rid of it. And that's pretty interesting. Swinging away, and Lilly with a high throw that gets into center over Starlin Castro. First and third. A fielder's choice and an error on Lilly, so that's 10 errors on the Cubs over their last 5 games. They have allowed a major league high 40 unearned runs already this year.
Weaver with the slash. I think the problem was that Ted Lilly turned to his left. If he had spun to his right, it's a much more natural throwing action. Airmailed that one over Starlin Castro on into center field. Marlon Byrd tried to get the lead runner at third base, but no chance.
Cornermen have the option of throwing home. They're in double play depth up the middle. And the pitch to Kendrick is high. Swing and a miss. So just a few of the things Brent Maine talks about. Play at the plate. It says leave your mask on if you're a catcher. Pop fly depends on what type of mask you have on. Coy Hill has the hockey style mask, so he leaves his on any foul pop up. The old school mask, you generally discard it after you locate the ball, and that's dunked out into right center. A base hit, a run in as Wood scores to make it 7-0.
That pitch is off the plate inside, and somehow Howie Kendrick managed to get his hands inside the ball, get the barrel on it, and loft a little line drive into right field.
So Lou coming out, a season high 7 runs allowed by Lilly. Like Ted thought Lou was going to take the ball.
I think he will eventually. Yeah. They're just giving Stevens a little extra time in that bullpen. Also, I think they're going to make a double switch with Coy Hill and Giovanni Soto. We'll see what happens here. The pitcher spot is due to lead off the bottom half of the 6th inning. It looks like we're going to pull the entire battery here.
So 7-0 Angels. Stevens and Soto coming in. Jeff Stevens inserted into the 7th spot where Coy Hill was, 1st and 2nd. A run in and 1 out. Kevin Franzen at the plate. Pitcher Weaver is at second. Howie Kendrick at first. Ball 1. Fastball inner third. Stevens recalled on May 19th, so 1 month ago today from AAA Iowa. ERA around 2.5 at AAA, and that's just foul down the right field line. And for Stevens, even lower than that here in the big leagues at 2.25. A bit of a different look from Jeff than what we saw last year. He has incorporated a harder breaking ball, a slider, to complement his 4-seam fastball and a curveball. 2-2 the count. Fly ball to deep left. Colvin will catch it on the warning track, sending the runners back to their bases.
Franzen really put a charge into that line drive to left field. Colvin froze momentarily, but then able to backtrack to the warning track and make the catch. Angel runners had gone halfway. It looked like it was going to get over Tyler's head momentarily, but a nice recovery to make the catch and hold the runners at first and second.
Abreu has singled all 3 times and has scored 2 runs, and it's hammered foul, scattering his teammates in the visiting bullpen.
Festival seating down there in the Angels bullpen today.
We were commenting yesterday they were having a little trouble figuring out the best way to protect the bullpen catcher. I was talking with a couple of the Cubs relievers. Generally, what they do down the left field line is one of the relievers or one of the extra bullpen catchers will stand basically right on the chalk line. You don't want to stand right behind the catcher because you don't want an errant pitch to hit you in the back of the head. But you don't want a foul ball to hit the catcher. So you have to figure out the best place, and the Angels are still kind of going through that process. One guy was standing right next to the tarp. He would not have had a prayer in protecting the bullpen catcher. Was it Clay Zavada last year at the end of the year? Almost touched a ball. A line shot hit right down the line. He tried to reach out, and he thought, oh, that's a fair ball.
Yeah, most of the new ballparks and some of the older ballparks as well, the bullpens are off the field of play, either behind the outfield fence or somewhere where you don't have to worry about getting hit with a foul ball. But here at Wrigley, with the bullpens down either line, somebody's got to save those bullpen catchers from those foul line drives.
I was talking with Stevens and Andrew Kashner, and he said you get blocked by the third base umpire down and left. You can't actually see the batter. Usually the guy's standing right along the line directly behind the third base umpire. And while that bullpen home plate doesn't look like it would be in a danger zone, I tell you hit a hard line drive, you have a half a second to get out of the way. Bobby Abreu is 4 for 4, and he knocks in a run. It's 8-0. An RBI single for Abreu.
Now we were talking about the zone that a pitcher, Ted Lilly specifically, gets in when you're throwing a near no-hitter or a near perfect game. Well, Bobby Abreu is in one of those zones offensively here today. He was actually fooled by that breaking ball. All of his weight had gone out to his front foot, but like good hitters do, he kept his hands back, waited on the ball to get into the hitting area, and then lined it into right center for a base hit.
Well, Abreu came in at just under .350 lifetime in 30 games at Wrigley Field. The former Philly has had a lot of success here. And he went into the game today at 191 against lefties, but 3 for 3 against Lilly. And then the RBI hit off the right-hander Stevens. 2-0 on Torrey Hunter, who hit a 2-run blast in the 5th. Four in the first, 2 in the 5th, 2 more here in the 6th. And they're loaded up. On Wednesday, July 7th, minor league excitement returns to Wrigley Field with the third annual Road to Wrigley presented by PNC Bank. Don't miss the action as the Peoria Chiefs battle the Kane County Cougars here at Wrigley Field. Kids 14 and under can come early for the chance to watch batting practice on the field and meet some future stars. Order your tickets today at Cubs.com.
Always a good time here at Wrigley. We encourage fans to come on out, do some advanced scouting, try to pick the guys you think may make it to Wrigley Field in a Cubs uniform someday. The Chiefs beat the Quad City River Bandits last night 7-2. They're in third place in the Midwest League Western Division. Come on out and watch a minor league game. You'll have a lot of fun, guaranteed.
The AAA Iowa Cubs are now in a first place tie after a 6-3 win last night. And AA Tennessee has a magic number of 1 with 2 games left. So 1 win in their final 2 of the first half, and they will clinch a playoff spot. Michael Brenly went deep for Daytona.
Oh boy, Junior.
The second of the year last night. And Boise, the Boise Hawks, started their 2010 campaign, unfortunately with a 7-0 loss to the Yakima Bears. But we happen to be in the Northwest. Might want to check out some Northwest League action. Jeff Stevens has to throw a strike. 3-0 with the bases loaded. The pitch to Mike Napoli. Fastball in there. 3-1.
It goes without saying, a very dangerous pitch coming now from Jeff Stevens. A 3-1 count. He's been struggling to throw strikes. You've got a very aggressive power hitter in Napoli at the plate. Bases loaded.
High fly ball. Fukudome right at the edge of the warning track to end the inning. They add 2 runs to their lead. It's 8-0 to the bottom of the 6th.
Reunions and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to www.wrigleyvillerooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF.
Last of the 6th, all Angels 8-0. As Soto gets his first at bat. And just like that, he's down 0-2. Very troubling trend here. 2 more unearned runs. That's 6 in the series given up by the Cubs. 42 leading the majors on the season. Cubs have issues right now with the big picture with a record that's well under 500, Bob, but I think the little picture is disturbing as well. The defense has not been good lately. And it's not close today, but they've been in a lot of tight games. And those things have to get tightened up. And we were talking with Lou Piniella before the game. The coaching staff spent a long time out here before a game the other night working on all the situations that we saw yesterday as Soto swings and misses. So you just keep grinding and you keep working. Well, we talk about offensive slumps. Do you believe in defensive slumps? Guys trying to be too perfect.
Absolutely, and I think it gets between your ears too. Once you make an error or a couple of errors, now instead of just reacting to a ground ball or reacting to a fly ball, you're thinking about it. Don't make an error. And anytime those negative thoughts creep into your head, that's when you're most likely to make mistakes.
Derek Lee with 3 errors this week after a long errorless streak of over 2 months. Weaver's 0-2 to Fukudome, laid off the high pitch. 1-2. Cub fans, if you want to manage along with Lou, log on to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and info while you're watching at home. Game Zone sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio, play sets, hot tubs, and more. Bobby Abreu, 2 hands on it as Fukudome lines out. It's up to Tyler Colvin to keep the inning alive. 7 straight retired by Weaver. I mentioned he replaced his brother Jeff on the Angels roster in the middle of 2006. Took the AL by storm, went 11-2 in 19 starts that year. But the story has a good ending for the entire Weaver family, because Jeff would hook on with the Cardinals. And he would end that season, Bob, winning a World Series ring, won the clincher against his original team, the Tigers. So what started out, I would think, as a very uncomfortable situation, young brother taking over big brother's spot, ultimately worked out well for both. We've seen Jeff Weaver quite a bit. These two guys are big-time competitors, battlers.
Big time. I can only imagine some of the wiffle ball games they had in the backyard as kids.
Little edge to the Weaver brothers. Jared, a first-round pick out of Long Beach State in 2004.
Brother Jeff Weaver was a little more of a low 3/4 arm angle. He was way down there to the side, not quite sidearm, but had a lot of tail on his fastball, big sweeping breaking ball, and wasn't afraid to stick one in your rib cage from time to time if he felt it was appropriate.
And Colvin swings and misses, has a chance to get to first, and he's going to make it. So Weaver gets his 8th strikeout, but the inning is still alive for the Cubs.
Another one of those balls in the dirt. We've seen a number of those this year where the catcher appears to be in good blocking position behind home plate, but the ball just hits at an awkward angle and gets away. Tyler Colvin, scooting on down that first base line, will reach on a 2-out strikeout.
A wild pitch charged to Weaver. Jeff Weaver now a reliever with the Dodgers. 23 appearances this year and 3.66 ERA. And these two guys pitched in the same game, Jarrett and Jeff, last weekend. And Jarrett got the win. I'm pretty sure they both faced one another at the plate in that game. That had to be weird. Yeah, I'm sure they've done that quite a bit in their life. This will get to the seats. I had to think if Jarrett and Jeff were hockey players, they'd drop the gloves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they probably dropped the gloves playing checkers when they were kids at home. Arguing over who had the bigger bedroom, who got the nicer car at 16. Mom always liked you best. Man, do they compete out there on that mound.
High for ball one, 1-2. The Yankees with 2 in the 4th lead the Mets 5-3 in the 7th. In the Bronx, Curtis Granderson with the go-ahead 2-run homer. Mike Pelfrey, his 6th of the year. Jose Reyes has 2 for the Mets. Teixeira's also gone deep for the Yankees. Swing and a miss. That ends the inning. He struck out 3 in the 6th. 9 on the day, and a comfortable 8-0 lead for Weaver. Eight runs allowed, 6 were earned, and allowed 6 runs in his prior 5 starts. Visit your Honda dealer, test drive a 2010 Honda CR-V. We start the 7th. Juan Rivera against Jeff Stevens. Sunny day at Wrigley.
On a musical note, Len, we want to thank Michael McDermott, today's national anthem singer. Dropped off a copy of his latest CD, Hey La Hey. Big time baseball fan. I highly encourage anybody who's into music to catch a Michael McDermott show at some point this summer. He's outstanding.
We really enjoy his rendition of the national anthem.
And on a related front, we were both off last weekend because of national coverage of the Cubs games. Had a chance to go to the Wells Street Art Festival and catch my favorite local band, Mr. Blotto. Couldn't encourage you more to go check out Mr. Blotto if you get a chance.
They're out and about a lot in the summer months. Cubs here in Chicago.
A lot of street festivals going on this time of year. I know I don't have to tell Chicago natives that, but if you're new to the area or visiting for a weekend, check them out. You'll have a great time.
Rivera could not hold up, according to Field and Culbreth. 1-2. Actor and comedian Tim Meadows started his comedy career here in Chicago. An SNL alum as well. Will conduct the stretch. The ladies' man is in the house.
Yes.
The kick, the 2-2, it's up. Rivera, probably the biggest hit of the day. 3-run double in the first inning. That made it 4-0. And he bounces one slowly to Starlin Castro. Nice play by the rookie for the out. There's still time to get great seats, including bleachers, for Cubs games this summer. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
In his short time here in the major league, Starlin Castro has shown that amazing ability to throw from any angle. Wherever he gets to the ball, that's where he throws from. That time a submarine delivery across to Derek Lee in time for the out at first.
Outside, ball one to Wilson. Fans enjoying the weather today. The breeze is keeping them somewhat cool. Apparently that one fan got a timeout. Misbehaving. So you can't watch the game for 5 minutes. Three and one. Although when you come to Wrigleyville, a lot of times there are distractions out on Waveland and Sheffield if you're in the back of the bleachers. Ball four, he walked him.
Distractions. A lot of distractions in Wrigleyville.
Another timeout.
There might be a wiffle ball game going on down the street there. He's keeping an eye on.
Inside corner to Wood for a strike. In the bottom of the 8th in Toronto, 3-0 Blue Jays over the Giants. Jesse Litch, 7 shutout in that one. And turned it over to the Jays pen. Matt Cain gave up 3 in the 8th. Aaron Hill with a 2-run homer. Hard to find a dark room in the sun at Wrigley Field.
Is that an NFL official?
Under the hood. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Fabricated fastball outside part of the plate, cutting away from the right-handed hitting Brandon Wood. Second strikeout of the game for Brandon Wood.
Scioscia has no intention of taking out his starter Weaver, who is working on a 2-hit shutout. Piece of it. 0-2. Tim Meadows getting ready for the stretch. It's old hat for him now. He's a 7th inning stretch veteran. Just missed. 1-2. Even at 2 apiece. Jeff Stevens has had a lot of deep counts since he came in for Ted Lilly in the 6th. Down the right field line, landing fair. Wilson to third. It's a single for Weaver. Just his 3rd career hit.
Had a 2-strike pitch earlier in the sequence that looked like strike 3 on Jared Weaver. Did not get the call from Field and Culbreth. Had to throw a couple more pitches, and ultimately Weaver dunks one down that right field line for a base hit.
Howie Kendrick. A strong series. And he has his 3rd hit today, sending Wilson to the plate and Weaver to second. 9-0. 3 RBIs for the leadoff man Kendrick. 5 in the series.
An inside out swing on a pitch on the inner third of the plate. We've seen him do that repeatedly in the first couple of games of this series, driving that ball to the opposite field.
Well, I mentioned a number yesterday. The Angels, with Kendry Morales, their best hitter in the first 2 months, were averaging about 4 1/3 runs per game. Since Morales went out, they're over 5.5. And I think the reason for that is just about everybody in this lineup is getting hot. They have used the team effort to make up for his loss, at least for the first 3 weeks or so. But normally that would be a debilitating blow to any offense. John Graybo is up. The Angels have now scored 16 runs in this series. (3-0) on Franzen. Bases are loaded. Jeff Stevens just cannot get out of this 7th inning.
People wonder why sometimes managers and pitching coaches get thrown out of a ball game for arguing one pitch in the middle of a ball game. But I come back to that 2-strike pitch to Jared Weaver. It appeared to be right on the outside corner at the knees. Should have been strike 3 out of the inning, and now Angels have the bases loaded, and Lou Piniella is going to have to go to the bullpen to get out of this inning.
And career high in pitches thrown by Stevens. Bobby Abreu, 4 for 4, will face left-hander John Graybo when we come back. Welcome back to Wrigley. John Graybo gave up an unearned run in an inning of work in the opener, and he faces red-hot Bobby Abreu, who's already 4 for 4. The bases are loaded, and a swing and a miss on a fastball. John recently activated from the disabled list. Came back Tuesday night. This is his 3rd appearance since coming off the DL. He was on with a left knee injury. Look at that.
Ooh.
371 at Wrigley Field for Bobby Abreu. That's up to date.
12 bombs in 31 games to go along with 38 driven in.
Abreu has won most of these battles.
It just means he's due to make an out.
That's right.
Geez, every Bobby Abreu graphic gets better than the one before. 9 grand slams.
A 1-2 pitch. Ground ball. Derek Lee picks it up. Graybo just beat him to the bag. Got a late start. Inning over. 9-0 Angels. Time for the stretch.
The out to the ball game is comedian Tim Meadows.
All right, fans. Let me hear ya. Hey. A 1, a 2, a 3.
Bases Lee, Tracy, and Fontenot. Was fortunate to get out of the top of the 7th on a bang-bang play at first. Lee feeding John Graybo. Did he beat him?
Yeah, Graybo a little slow getting off the mound. Looked like Abreu beat the Cubs pitcher over there to the mound, but they beneficiary of a call at first by Marty Foster, and the Cubs will definitely take it.
Great to have Tim Meadows with us in the booth, actor and comedian. cut his comedic teeth, so to speak.
Yes.
Here in this great city. Always good to see you, Tim.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I did. I cut my teeth here. And it hurt a lot.
I'm sure it did.
A lot of pain. Not as bad as this game day, but
Abreu going to have room.
He caught it.
Now, did you get enough sleep last night? I see you're performing at 11:59 p.m. tonight.
Yeah. They should just say midnight. I don't know why they don't just say midnight. Yes.
Sounds a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Say 11:59.
Maybe there's some law, some kind of labor law about how much they have to pay me if it's today.
That's right. Good comedy always starts 1 minute before midnight.
Yes. What Richard Pryor used to say is you got to hang out until after 11 because that's when all the fun starts. After 11 o'clock? Yeah, after 11. I got to stay out till after 11 because that's when the people going to start partying. But, yes, my show is at 11:59, so it should be pretty good.
Well, is it R-rated, your show? Maybe they don't want to have it on Sundays.
That could be. I think it might be a little dirty for Sunday. We wanted to call it the Sunday morning show, but after we saw how dirty it would be, we figured that's a bad idea.
So I'm sure you're reunited with some good friends here this weekend.
Yes. Well, I'm going to try to go and see some of my friends today. I understand Robert Smigel was here yesterday.
Yeah, Carl Wolarski, as he's better known in these parts, one of the super fans.
Yeah, did he have his mustache?
He did.
Yes, he did.
Sometimes I think that mustache actually flies in on its own plane. It's so prominent.
It's kind of like the Stanley Cup. They probably take it from city to city in a case.
Yes.
Escorted by a guy with white gloves on.
Yeah, it is filthy, that mustache. I hope you guys didn't kiss him or anything.
Ooh.
No.
Ooh.
Not part of the act.
Oh, good.
1 and 2 on Chad Tracy. We're here with Tim Meadows. I'm curious how you guys write sketches, or how you have in the past, longtime member of SNL. Do you come up with an idea and just kind of riff on it? Do ideas come to the room pretty much done? How does that work?
I personally used to wait and get inspiration. Like, something would inspire me to write something funny. And then if that didn't work, back in my younger days, drinking always helped get it started. But then I learned as I got older that I could depend on my natural comic ability.
The key is if you're drinking and you write it, you want to make sure that when you're sober, it's still funny. Right?
Yes.
Because most people witnessing the comedy probably are somewhat sober.
Well, my audience is mainly drunks, so they don't really care what I say. They usually think it's more than one person on stage. They always go, "Hey, you and those guys that you perform with are great." And I go, "Thank you." And the other thing that I get a lot is, "You're great in Hotel Rwanda," which is Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle, right.
Well, you would have been great if they'd have picked you instead of Don.
I wish somebody would say that instead of "you were great." But if I'd have done it, I would have done it like a guy from Detroit, not an African guy. So it wouldn't have been as good, I think.
Well, you are from Detroit, right? So
yes, I was
come from a real place.
Yeah, I was born in Detroit, which is a lot like Rwanda, if you think about it. But the hotels are a little bit worse, actually. But I've lived in Chicago for a long time.
Always great to see you, Tim. We'll check out Grown Ups coming out nationally soon, and have a great night tonight at 11:59 p.m.
Thank you very much. Come on, let's get some run.
Time to look at our BMW drive of the game. It came back in the 5th inning. Torrey Hunter with his 12th home run of the season, second of the series, a line drive to left center. Only BMW offers ultimate service. Buy a BMW now and pay zero maintenance costs for 4 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first.
1-1 on Hunter. We're in the 8th. The Angels have out-hit the Cubs 12-2 and have outscored them 9-0. Jared Weaver with 11 strikeouts through 7. Outside, 2-1. Big swing by Hunter. He fouled it back. John Grabo was born in Arcadia, California, and he grew up a Dodger fan, but one of his idols was your former teammate, Will Clark. And John told Vine Line that's why he played first base in Little League and into high school. Will the thrill.
He was a thrill as a teammate. I know Cub fans aren't particularly enamored with him after what he did to the Cubs in 1989, but you talk about certain players that seem to play their best when the lights are the brightest, and Will Clark was one of those guys.
Visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes. Hunter with a leadoff walk. Here's Napoli. He walked and scored in the first. 0 for 3 since. Not hit hard. Let's see if they can turn it. The tag is applied, and they do turn it. And Fontenot tagged Hunter and then got the easy out at first to double up Napoli.
Mike Fontenot coming right up in the baseline to make the play. Torrey Hunter goes out of the baseline to avoid the tag. He was immediately called out by Gary Cederstrom out there at second base, and then Fontenot with the easy toss on to first to complete it. We've seen a number of those this year. Runner at first, ground ball to the second baseman near the baseline. Occasionally we've seen some confusion as to whether to tag and throw to first, throw to second, throw to first, take the out at first and get the runner caught in a rundown, but that time Fontenot made it a very easy play.
Juan Rivera is the only Angel who has not scored today, even though he did knock in 3. So you can't say it hasn't been a productive performance. 8 guys have combined to score 9 runs. There's a definition of everybody chipping in. Derek Lee with the over-the-shoulder attempt. It lands foul. So no play for Derek, looking over his shoulder, possibly into the sun. He got his glove on it in foul ground and could not make the catch.
Yeah, he's looking right back up into the sun. The ball hits off the thumb of his first baseman's mitt and drops. It's not where the ball comes down, it's where it was touched, and it was in foul territory when Derek Lee first made contact.
And Bobby Wilson's trying to bat, but the home plate umpire is saying, Bobby, Rivera's still at the plate. He was in the batter's box. Wait your turn.
That's right. That's a guy that's anxious to hit right there.
Oh, 2 on Rivera. Swing and a miss. Inning over. Leadoff walk, no runs. 9-0 Angels late.
summer baseball station.
Rob Quinlan comes in to play first and hit ninth. And the longtime Angel right-hander Scott Shields will do the pitching. What a day for Jared Weaver in his Wrigley Field debut. Totally dominated this Cubs offense. Ryan Theriot pinch hitting for Graybo. One and two. The 11 strikeouts for Weaver, one off his season high of 12. Some Angel fans out in the bleachers enjoying this one today as that's hit foul. Much of this crowd hasn't had a whole lot to cheer about. 40,008 were paid attendance. Scott Shields, the only remaining Angel from the 2002 World Series championship team.
Shields has really kind of evolved as a pitcher, and the deeper he's gotten into his career, the fewer pitches he throws. He used to be a 4-pitch guy, fast slider, curve, change. Pretty good mix of all 4 pitches, but this year he's been about 80% fastballs, 20% curveballs, and that is it. There's a curve right there. Ryan Theriot caught a break. That's a good-looking pitch. A series of fastballs on the inner part of the plate. He drops that curveball right out there on the outside corner.
Ground ball to Wood at short. He'll get the out. Scott Shields no longer one of the top setup men in baseball, but the first decade of this century, Sports Illustrated had him as the setup man of the decade. How about 2005? This is incredible, Bob. 78 relief appearances, 21 decisions. He went 10 and 11. And didn't make a start. That's hard to do. He has 46 career wins, 43 losses, only 14 career starts. How about this one? He pitched 16 innings in a game for Lincoln Memorial University on March 16th, 1996, about 260 pitches, and he took the loss. That is a true story. Called strike 3. Castro is out. 12 strikeouts for Angels pitching today. And then you have this one. When you look at his personal bio, he was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is not a bad place to live in the winter. But he doesn't live there in the winter. He lives in Northville, Michigan. He must like snow. A quick work of the Cubs here in the 8th. All Angels today in Game 2 of this series, 9-0.
That bottom half of the 8th inning. Going back to catch the warm-up pitches from the new Cubs reliever, Bob Howry. All the other catchers were occupied. So Terrio grabbed the mitt and he warmed up Bob Howry.
We saw Howry yesterday. He gave up 3 runs. They were all unearned because of a couple of throwing errors on Jeff Baker in the 7th. It allowed a 2-run homer in that inning to Howie Kendrick. Now Bobby Wilson gets a chance to hit. And he takes it on the outside corner for a strike. Angels have taken advantage of a strong wind blowing out to right. The Cubs have been able to muster only 2 measly hits all day. They have not had a runner past first base the entire game. Talk all the time about the ability to get him in scoring position. That has not been an issue the first 8 innings. Mike Quade has been a very lonely guy at third base. Two on Bobby Wilson.
Mike Quade has to feel like the Maytag repairman down there at third base today. Just not much to do. Talk to the umpire, up to the third baseman, flip an occasional foul ball up into the stands, but hasn't had a teammate come by to see him yet.
Full count, 3-2. The Cubs pitchers today have not really thrown strikes. Lilly walked 3. Stevens really struggled. He walked 3 in just an inning and a third. Graybo with a walk. And now Howry's gone 3-2 on Wilson. Lined and off the glove of Chad Tracy. And Wilson will slide in safely with a double.
Chad Tracy may have mistimed his jump down there at third base. That ball was hit extremely hard. Got to him quickly. It was tipped off his glove down into that left field corner for Tyler Colvin.
Brandon Wood 1 for 4 with a run. Now called strike. Cubs were hoping the series win over Oakland would propel them to some consistently solid baseball, but they lost yesterday. They were down big, came back late to make it 7-6, and they really have never been in this one.
I'm beginning to think, Len, we may have to give up on solid fundamental baseball and just go to whacking. Start hitting some home runs. Try to hit the ball out in the street once in a while. Cubs haven't been very good at manufacturing. They haven't been very good about stopping the other team from scoring.
A gapper, and that'll make it 10-0 as Wilson scores. Brandon Wood with an RBI single.
I mean, I think we all had the same feeling coming out of spring training that once again that was going to be the kind of team that the Cubs were going to have. They were going to have to hit and hit a lot to overcome some of their shortcomings in other areas. And obviously that hasn't happened on any kind of a consistent basis. Those home runs will cover up a lot of warts. Unfortunately, not many home runs off the Cubs' bats.
Quinlan with his first at bat and takes it inside, ball 1. Rob borrowed a T from Scott Shields and made it an extra B. 2-0.
I noticed that when they came in the game together in that last half inning, Scott has one T at the end of his name, and Rob has two B's at the end of his. We have Vanna White all confused.
You notice everything. Castro gets nobody. Runners advance. And Dino Ebel's going to send Brandon Wood. I'll tell you what, fielder's choice E6. And as the crowd lets the Cubs hear about it, Bob, the Angels are not trying to run it up here. In fact, Dino Ebel at third base was going to leave Wood at third, but he really had no choice but to send him.
Well, once the ball got by Derek Lee over into the Angels bullpen, it kind of got trapped. And you're right, Ebel was going to hold the runner. And actually, Brandon Wood came around third and basically walked home. One of those off-balance throws I was talking about. Usually Castro very accurate, that time well off the mark. And by the time Derek Lee dug that ball up over in the corner there, Brandon Wood had walked down the third base line and scored another run.
I noticed Wood did not press the issue on a ball that was hit in the gap. He probably could have at least thought about a double, but really out of the box was thinking it's a single. High fly ball. Marlon Byrd out in right center. And he makes the catch at the edge of the warning track. And Quinlan will tag and head to third.
That's kind of a fine line for some teams in a situation like the Angels find themselves today with an 11-0 lead in the ninth inning. You don't want to disrespect the team that you're pounding on. You don't want to run up a score, but by the same token, you owe it to your teammates to get yourself into scoring position so they can get RBIs if they get a base hit. But you could clearly see that the Angels third base coach was trying to avoid tacking on any unnecessary runs in that last situation.
One 1-0 on Franzen. A multi-error game for the Chicago Cubs. They've had at least 2 in 5 of their last 9 games. Left field corner for Franzen. Fair ball. And Quinlan scores. It's 12-0. This has been ugly.
Held high fastball on the inside part of the plate. Franzen has been trying to pull the ball hard to left field throughout the first 2 games of this series. Finally got a ball he could handle and drove it down into that left field corner for extra bases.
You sometimes hear people say, sometimes you'd rather get blown out than lose a close game because you play the what-if game. Well, this is no fun.
No.
Cubs have dropped their fair share of one-run games, but they have never been in this one. The Angels scored 4 in the first, and they have not stopped scoring. And the Cubs have helped them today like they did yesterday. Two 2-0 on Abreu. Reggie Willits on deck for Torrey Hunter. And the top part of that scorecard has been a lot busier than the bottom part. Three 3-0. Abreu is not going to help Howard. He's one of the most patient hitters in baseball, and has been for a long time. He's always near the top of the pitchers per plate appearance leaderboard. And a lot of people think that his patience was contagious last year. as the Angels finished second in the majors in runs scored, a club record 883. Their highest team on base percentage since 2000 last year. The kick and the 3-2 inside, ball 4. And here comes Larry. And we mentioned Willits will bat for Hunter. Three runs in here in the ninth. And it's still only one out. Low for ball 1 on Willits. Reggie Willits, a guy, whenever we see the Angels in spring training, we always see Reggie Willits. He's been a reserve outfielder, a guy who generally will get a couple of at-bats just about every day in spring training.
Good speed, good defender. Lifetime .298 hitter at the minor league level. Sporadic playing time as a big leaguer, with the exception of the 07 season when he played in 136 ball games and hit .293 for the Angels.
He wears 77. That's a tip of the cap to a former Cub, Kenny Lofton, who wore 7. Not a bad guy to emulate if you're Reggie Willits. And his dad named him Reggie after Reggie Jackson. 3-1. Lowry's 3-1 and a fly ball to deep right. This is going to be caught by Fukudome. And 2 down. And another interesting play is Franzen could have tagged and headed to third, but he decided not to. And Shields is going to hit.
We're told it's only his 4th career at bat.
I will play devil's advocate and say I wouldn't have a problem if the Angels did what you would do no matter what the score was. Tag up. I mean, you got to play the game. And I know that a lot of times you just don't want your guys to get drilled. If you do something that is deemed disrespectful. But if you have a chance to score, do it. If you have a chance to tag up, do it. I don't have any problem with that. The problem with the unwritten rules is that they're unwritten. Called strike 3. Howie finally gets out of it. 2 more unearned runs allowed by the Cubs. Bottom 9, 12-zip Angels. as the Angels have dominated the Cubs today. Reggie Willett stays in to play center after pinch hitting for Torrey Hunter. And Scott Shields, he got a rare at bat, start his second inning of work. Kosuke hits it foul out of play off to the left. Off the plate inside. Some of the late afternoon games are starting up here over the next few minutes. Twins are at the Phillies, the White Sox at the Nationals, and the Dodgers are at Fenway Park. Manny Ramirez made his return to Fenway as a Dodger last night. Mixed reaction, some cheers and boos.
I think that's the same reaction Manny gets just about everywhere he goes.
I think you're right. Fly ball to left. Juan Rivera reaches up. A little nonchalant about that, but able to make the catch. Ball took off on him a little bit.
Yeah, carried a lot further than he was anticipating. That wind continues to blow from left to right. I think perhaps Rivera thought that ball would get knocked down a little bit by the wind, but Fukudome drove it nearly to the warning track.
One 1-0 to Tyler Colvin. We'll have tomorrow's game 3 right here on WGN as Colvin powers one out to deep center, and it's caught by Willits. Best hit ball of the day for the Cubs. And just allowed out.
Sounded like he didn't quite catch it off the sweet spot of the bat. It had a good trajectory when it left the batter's box, but kind of got out there in deep center field and just feathered. Willits took one last look at the vines out there before making the catch a step in front.
And this will do it. Kendrick throws out Bird. Shields with an easy ninth, and he combines with Jared Weaver on a 2-hit shutout. 12-0 Angels, the final.